Books are important because they educate people, because they help us feel empathy towards people different to us. This is something that Jen Campbell, who is a great writer and also my favorite YouTuber, said in a video of some years ago, which was called the Be a Good Human book tag. And I recently rediscovered that video, and I decided to resurrect the tag because I feel like we need that reminder that that's what books are for, to make us better human, and what time is better than the present to be a better human. So this is Raf, and these are the 5 of the books that I think made me a better human, I hope. Yeah, definitely. The first book that I'm going to talk about is actually a series of books. The Sisterhood of the Travelling Pants by Brashares. I only have the audiobook with me actually, which is very nice. And I listen to it constantly, at least once a year. Because I read this series when I was very, very young for the first time. So all of my books are in Italian from the series, and they are in Italy. But the series is so good that I find myself going back to it again and again when I feel like I need a friend. So the Sisterhood of the Travelling Pants tells the story of TB, Lena, Bridget and Carmen, who are a group of 4 friends who've been friends since they were born, or I guess since before they were born, because their mothers were friends. And one day, just the summer, the first summer that they're going to spend apart, they find this magical pair of jeans in a shop, but they don't know that they're magical. But then they try them on, and the jeans fit them all, even though they have very different bodies, and they all feel stunning in the jeans. And then so the series follows their lives and the way the jeans keep them together. And it's such a wonderful book for so many reasons. First of all, it's got this wonderful message that women are different from each other. Wow. And that's okay, and that's great, and that you're great whatever you want to do, and however, like, no matter how you look. And it's just such a good series, and it definitely made me a happier human and a better human and a more self-loving human. My favorite sentence from the series is, and it's gonna sound weird if you're based in the UK like me, because pens, but my favorite quote is, pants equal love. Love your friends, love yourself. And it's such a great thing to say to a teenage girl, and it's so, and to a woman in general. We tend to, sometimes we need a reminder that we should be as good to ourselves as we are to others, because we are encouraged to be nurturing and good and kind to other people, and then but no one tells you you should be good and nurturing and kind to yourself. And that Sisterhood of the Travelling Pants does that, and I think it's really great, and every woman should read it right now. The next book I want to talk about is Remembered by Yvonne Battle-Felton, and that's actually the July pick for the Empower Her Voice book club. And I'm going to talk to the author Yvonne Battle-Felton on the 24th of June, so stay tuned. And it's very different from the Sisterhood of the Travelling Pants, clearly. It's the story of a story. There's this wonderful quote in the book that's there's a whole heap of stories don't ever get told, and remembered is the story of this brutal story, which is often hard to read, but that's one more reason why you should read it, I think. And it made me reflect a lot, not only on slavery, which is one of its main themes, but also about motherhood and about sisterhood, and again about women's bodies and how they're used. I'm going to talk more about Remembered in my video in which I talk to Yvonne Battle-Felton. The next book I want to talk about is maybe my favorite book of all times, and I've only read it this year for the first time, and it completely blew my mind. It's The Women's Room by Marylin, and it is amazing. I love it. It's wonderful. So it tells the story. It was first published in 1977, and it also follows the life of this woman, Mira, from the 1940s into the 1970s. The reason why The Women's Room made me a better human is because it made me realize how really hard it is for a woman to be a mother and also have a career and be her own person in a patriarchal society. And I think I was too naive, and I am too young to know it for myself, but it really it made me really grateful to my mum. And yes, I loved the format, how many different stories. It also deals a little bit with mental health, suicide. I've loved the way it deals with that. But yeah, it has all of these different stories, and they're all very ordinary but extraordinary at the same time, and it really puts you into these women's shoes. And this brings me to the next book that I want to talk about, which unfortunately I don't have with me, Girl, Woman, Other by Bernadine Evaristo, which won the Man Booker Prize in 2019. It tells many stories, again, of very different women and through very different times in Britain. And reading it sometimes felt like my head was exploding because so much of it was unfamiliar to me. It deals with issues of race and sexuality, and some of the issues were very familiar to me, like gender, but so much of it I just couldn't imagine before, but it helped me understand, and that's what this tag is all about, and that's what reading is all about. Be a good human and learn to relate to other people's experiences. And I think, yeah, Girl, Woman, Other was absolutely brilliant for that. And I found that for its polyphony, I felt like it was a bit like the women's room for the 21st century, because it's such a wider set of experiences that it tells, but it's the same kind of tapestry, and it's wonderful. The last book that I want to talk about is actually by Jen Campbell, so the creator of this tag, The Beginning of the World in the Middle of the Night. It is a series of short stories which all have something to teach about alienation, and they're about characters who are outcasts or who feel like outsiders, and I think it's such a brilliant collection for making you a better human, which is the point. The quote that Jen chose to put at the beginning of the book, I think it's great. It's from Frankenstein by Mary Shelley, and I think it really captures what the book is about. It is true, we shall be monsters, cut off from all the world, but on that account we shall be more attached to one another. So that was my very small selection of books that made me a better human for today. Obviously the list is much longer, and please write in the comments down below which books made you a better human. And as Jen Campbell said in her video, if you have seen this video, consider yourself tagged and go out and tell me how to be a better human through books, because that's what I'm here for. Well, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.